I remember the day my husband brought home the new car. Something cheaper would have done us just fine, but he has the money and he wanted to surprise me. He's always been a very considerate and loving person. Our little boy was excited too. It smelled so nice. New cars smell like God's study. It was a pleasure to drive, handled wonderfully. Men would flirt with me in traffic. There were no problems. Everything is microchipped now. It's amazing all that possibility locked in such a tiny universe. Imagine my surprise when, on a bright spring day, as I was prepared to go to the grocery store, I needed flour, I think. I waved goodbye to my little boy, got in the car, turned the key, and it started right away. It was still in park. And then suddenly, like a creature from a nightmare, the car lurched forward violently into my little boy, pinned him into the back of the garage wall. The moment I felt the car jump, I slammed my foot into the brake. But it just ignored me. It ignored me completely. It kept ramming itself into my child, now remained pinned between the car and the garage wall. Again and again I screamed and pressed down on the brake as hard as I could. I later discovered I had broken 2 bones in my foot. He died later in the hospital. I remember the look on his face. He didn't say anything, but I know what he was thinking. Mommy, why did you do that? Why did you do that to me, Mommy? There was a police investigation, of course. Mechanics couldn't find anything wrong with the car. Our mechanic said that in the old days, when something was wrong, you could fix it. Things were mechanical, and you know how things worked. But these new cars, it was this new technology, and it was Spooksville. You don't know what it's going to do, and when it does, you don't know if it's going to do it again. Everything is so tiny. It's all probability. Nothing is certain. Certainty is at the core of things. The police called it an accident, but my husband wouldn't let it rest there. He sued the car company, and there was a trial. And I had to tell my story again and again, relieving each time. It was horrible. But we thought it was the right thing, because if this could happen to us, it could happen to anybody, anybody's child, anybody's husband or wife. And in the course of all this, we met hundreds of people with the same upscale cars, and the same thing had happened to them. One man's lurched into reverse while it sat running empty, while driverless, and smashed into the front window of someone else's house. Another woman went through 2 fences and a tool shed, all while her foot was on the brake the whole time. There was a series of further investigations and tests. It took months, then years. I told my story again and again. The car company tried a balloton of famous and very expensive lawyers to prove that they were not at fault. They ridiculed us for our ignorance of technology. They were shocked that we would try to extort money from them to get rich off the death of our child. Commission was set up. But by this time, it had lost all out of money for litigation. We lost our house. We lost everything. The car company wined and dined the members of the commission. Money changed hands. Backs were washed. Favors were done. The big boys take care of each other. The commission ruled that the cars had been perfectly engineered. There was nothing wrong with the cars. Tragic accidents like this one had caused the car I was driving ram repeatedly into my little boy were simple acts of human error. I had mistaken the gas pedal for the brake. It was my fault. The car company was declared blameless. My husband began to drink. On TV, the car company hired famous actors I had admired to drive their cars and tell how safe they were. Certain design changes were made quickly. I watched the TV. I sat there. My husband stopped talking to me altogether. We no longer sleep in the same room. Then, today, I figured out what I was going to do. I will go to the corporate headquarters of the car company. I will watch outside the building for the president of the company. I've seen news photos of him coming in and out. There is a certain wall he passes along every day to get to his car. When I see him come out, I will step on the gas, and I will drive him directly into the wall, again and again, until this man is cut in half. And when it is over, I will sit in my car and wait until the police come. And when they ask what happened, I'll say, "Whoops, so sorry. I must have mistaken the gas pedal for the brake. It was just a simple error." Perhaps they could get their high-paid engineers and their lawyers and their beautiful spokespeople to put this poor gentleman back together. It was certainly not intentional. It was just another example of sudden acceleration.